Hey everybody, it's Colleen here, Get Art Creations. Today's the day we're going to sew in signatures. First time I'm showing anybody on video how to do this, so I hope that this will help you. I hope that I won't confuse you. I know that it was something that intimidated me for quite a while before I even tried it. So now that I've done it I've made several journals with built-in spines that it's just so much easier. I'm going to show you the way I learned originally, and as you get better at it, for those of you that are new to this style of journals, then you can figure out. Already I know that I don't need the templates that I make. I have a bit of an easier way that I do it now, but this is easy. It's just I'm going to take you from the basics of how I learned. I learned from Amy Doggett, actually, from Kitty Weedy Papercraft. She's pretty thorough, if you know anything about her, very thorough. So I feel like I really learned from the best. So here we go. I'm not like her, that's for sure. I'm not as refined, but before we get started, I wanted to mention, yesterday I mentioned the Etsy shop that I buy, that I have this printable set from. Their PM Artist Studio. I know that the M stands for Mariah, who I have been getting to know over the last couple of days, and her mom's name starts with the P, and I'm forgetting it. I want to say Penny, but you know what? Check out their YouTube channel. They're an adorable mother-daughter business together. They have a lot of fun, it seems like. They're pretty knowledgeable. They're very crafty. They each have a unique style. So I hope that you'll hop on over and join their YouTube channel, PM Artist Studio. I will link them in my description box below. The reason I'm also sharing this is because if you're interested in this printable kit, is Seaside, Cloudy Seaside. It's absolutely adorable. But she has a lot of lovely prints. They're really big into mixed media. So if you're interested in purchasing any of her kits, right now their printables are 40% off. And if you type in their code that they're offering today, which just happens to be GetArt20, you'll get an extra 20% off. So 60% off on all her printables. That's pretty awesome. I will link the code down below as well. I think that's pretty sweet that she's doing that. This community, we all help each other. I absolutely love it. Dawn from the Book Vandal Shop, she featured one of my journals in one of her Feature Friday videos, and from that I did get a few hundred subscribers to my channel, and I'm very appreciative of that. So she also showcased my Etsy shop opening, which on her Instagram, which also was just so sweet of her. So I want to just pay it forward. I'm by no means a long-time crafter, but I do feel like I've learned quite a bit in the past year. I've done a lot of projects, so if you're willing and you're interested, here we go. So let's start with the spine. Okay, tools. You don't need these. Sometimes I use these. These signatures are a little on the thicker side. You can use paper clips, you can use bobby pins. I'm going to show you what to do with these. So you'll need those. You'll need some thread. I'm using waxed linen thread today. This is a sturdier journal, so I want the thread to be strong. Some people use embroidery thread. There's all different options out there. You need an awl, a nice pokey tool, and this, oh my goodness, this I can't live without, and you're going to see why in this particular video. And of course your needle. Now this needle is a little bendy. It's really awesome for this kind of a thing. What I would do next time, I would order needles that have a bigger eye that you can get your thread through. I do get it through, but it's just I've seen others use bigger eyes, and yeah, that's just a little tidbit there. Okay, first thing I do, I'm just going to take you through my process here. I hope it's not going to bore you. Hopefully you're going to learn from it. But here we go. So you saw yesterday I did my cover and built the spine. And here are my two signatures I'm using. The size of this journal is, let's see here. This is a 9 by 6 with about a 1.5 inch spine. So I have done all different size spines. When you upcycle, you're never guaranteed the same sized journal or spine. So earlier on, like I said, I did make templates. Amy taught me how to do templates. This one's from her, a course she offered in doing this. This one is for an 8.5 inch lengthwise journal, so it won't suit this one, and it's for 4 signatures. So I have one here, a 2 inch wide and an 8.5 inch long spine, which is not this one. Then I have here 1.5 inch wide by an 8 3/4 inch spine, and this one is a 2 inch wide by 8 inch long. So as far as your spines, there's different size spines. So I do have templates that I don't actually need anymore, but they're nice to have on hand. Some people don't use anything. They just kind of wing it, and that's fine too. But I'm a little less wingy, if you will. So here we go. I made this spine today. It's a 1.5 inch wide by 9 inch long. I don't actually use these anymore, but they're handy for starting out. And why not use them, right? So you can see it that the length of this template is the length of the journal. So you have to consider how wide your spine is. And it is a 1.5 inch wide spine, and I have 2 signatures. So you also have to consider that if you want them to look even at the back when you've done your threading. So I felt like 2 would be enough because I have to embellish, and I'm going to embellish quite a bit. So I want room for that. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is you have to get your holes through your spine, and you're going to see how I do it. So this here is the length and width of my spine. You could tape this down. I'm going to turn it sideways. I've already measured, so I come in about 1/2 inch in the middle of the spine because I'm only doing 2, and I space them out evenly. So we've got about 1 inch down. I always start the top of my journals about the signatures about 1 inch from the top of the cover and about 1 inch from the bottom. So you got 1 inch in, 1 inch from the bottom, and this is about 1/4 inch in here. And then I just space them evenly, and then I X them. So those are going to be my target spots that I'm going to use for putting in the holes. So here we go. This is my awl, and I'm going to go right into the eye, the middle of this little X here. And you want to try to be as careful as you can if you're interested in being careful. So I went down 1, and now I don't want to take my hand off this template until I've got these all down in here. And I'm doing this into my telephone book because I don't want to, it's easier to put a hole through something soft than your desk, which doesn't tend to work. My hand shakes because sometimes you got to really push. Okay, so I'm just going to go through them once more. You can see that it looks decently straight. I do the pamphlet stitch, which is 3 holes. This went through really nicely. So we're going through 2 layers of cardboard, 2 layers of Tyvek paper, and it went right through. So you can see at the back, well, you sort of can, I guess. I don't know if you can see on camera, but 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So when you look at the spine of your journal, that's where your strings are going to look, your threads, that's how it's going to look. So that's this part. We got the spine ready to go on the journal. And now this part you want to line up as well. So the trick to this at least that I have found to work well, is, I guess the first thing you want to do is make sure your signatures are set up the way you want them. Give them a shake down here. Assuming you've already done the bone folder, the more you flatten the creases, the flatter it'll lay, which is what you want. So this is a bit of a chunky monkey. There's some cardstock, there's some copy paper, and yeah, so I do have an odd shaped insert that I wanted to have sewn in, and I'm kind of trying to decide if this should be the middle of my center or not. I like that idea, and I think it looks really cute. I just made this yesterday. I cut it to size, and it says at the seaside, because this is of course a beach seashell seaside themed journal. And I just put down some paper, and then I made a couple of pockets out of my scraps from the printable kit that I'm using as well. So you want to make sure, because once it's sewn in, you could always take it apart, but you know, do you really want to? So just make sure you're good and certain. And I can't decide, because I also like the look when it's inside the journal. And I could always do stuff here. You know what, I'm going to do it this way. So, because I do want to sew it in, I do have to put it in the signature, but we're going to go here. So, give it a quick look over. Your pages are in and they're upright. Trust me, I've sewn in signatures without doing this carefully, and I've noticed sometimes, oh, look at that's upside down. Not fun to fix. Okay, so this one's ready. Now, in order to ensure that it's nice and tight, give it a squeeze, and this is where these come in handy. I want to make sure I'm in film here view. So this clips down. This just obviously helps to hold the papers in place, more or less. This is junk journaling. It doesn't have to look perfect. But you know what? It depends what the purpose of your project is. If you're giving it away as a gift or what have you, you want to obviously have it a little more accurate. Okay. So I've got the top proper. I've got the middle ready to go. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your template. Now the reason I always mark the top is because I want to know which is top, but sometimes the top and the bottom of the measuring of your journal, it can be out just a little bit. So you do want this to match up with the holes I've just put in your journal spine. So I'm going to start about an inch in. I'm going to use a pen, which I wouldn't recommend this. I'm doing it today for the sake of this video. Normally I don't need to now, but you just want to know where you're marking your... Okay, there's that, and then the middle. Just a little something that you can see to use that tells you where you want to thread that little needle through, because you want it right through the middle of your signature, not in the sides, just right through the middle. So I like to keep things nice and tight. So here's the top of my journal. What I do and what I prefer is to start by doing, if I'm going to have multiple journals, which I have 2 today, I'm going to do the outside one first, or the one farthest from me. I just want to do, what I do here too is I just want to make sure they're going to line up. Okay, now you want to take your I do anyways, because now you got to put the holes through your signature. Trust me, you don't want to do, you can't do it with the needle and then into the bind. It's way too difficult. So Squeeze it up as much as you can here. Are you getting this here? Am I in view? Okay. Let's do it with the top. Okay, so look for your markings. I'm trying to do this so my head doesn't take up space in the video, but that's probably going to happen. There's the other dot here. And if this doesn't go as well as I'd planned, that's okay. We're going to work with it. We're going to take any little mistake that we might make and make it pretty anyway. So, I didn't make this next one dark enough, but I think it's right here. We're going to find out together. Nothing like feeling vulnerable. Okay, so I've got my signature needle, or my threading needle, threaded. The trick to this is to leave a little bit of a, I'm not a seamstress in any way, so I won't have proper terms, but you want a little tail, if you will. About this long. Oh, and the other thing too is I measure when I do the threading to decide how long I want my thread. I do the length of the journal 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and a little extra. Snip it, and this will ensure that you've given yourself enough thread. Okay, here we go. So we're just going to start with, and remember, this is going to be your best friend, for me anyways. This is a long, sharp needle. So the one thing you do is you start in the middle, and you thread it through. This is where several videos back, I had mentioned I would show you how to do this on video. And then I also said it isn't pretty, so I chickened out. But here we are today, not chickening out, but it isn't going to be pretty. I'll get her done. It just won't look smooth and lovely or anything like that. Okay, so we're going through the middle hole now. And this is where this here, you grip it and pulls it through beautifully. And then you don't have to keep hanging on to it. I don't need to. As soon as it's through the spine, that's what you needed. I've tried to pull the needles through without this, and oh my goodness, it's not fun. Okay, so now, can you see this? See, this is where it's hard to, I'm going through the top hole. Okay, let's do it this way. This needle is really, really sharp. So you find that, put it through. Some people put it right through into the signature. I do that too, but I want to kind of show you the process. Sometimes it's easier for me to not, so you have to just figure out what works for you. Okay, now you want to find the hole that you've put through. Oh, good, and it went right through into the signature. There are times you're gonna, here's pulley tool, that you really, okay, good, that you need. I need it. Sometimes you're going to find when you put your needle through the book spine, if your holes aren't lined up properly because you didn't either clip it or hold it tight or what have you, then you got to kind of feed it through, sometimes paper by paper. Haven't had that happen to me, but I have seen others fight with that. Give it a little snuggy pull. You don't want to pull too much so that you're ripping your pages. But another trick, pull this tail down away from the hole so that when you put your hole or your needle back through the middle, you don't go through or split the thread. Pulley tool. Honestly, you're going to love it. I heard somebody mention the other day, another good tip. I think it was from the book Vandal Shop. Somebody had given her a really good tip. Dishwashing gloves seems to do the trick, which would make sense. Now I went through the signature, but I got to get through the back of the journal here. So if you don't want to split the thread, try to avoid doing that. Take your pulley tool and it goes through. So you go through the middle, through the book, up to the top, through the signature, back through the middle, through the book again, and then you're going to go to the bottom. And up. Here we go. Grip, pull, and we're almost done with the first one. And I don't have eyes right now to see, so you're going to see my head. Sorry, everybody. There we go. Let's hope it went through the signature. Did you go? Did you go? Yes, perfect. Wow, it's going smoother than I thought on video. Okay, so then I'm going to explain this a little bit better as the other thing I forgot to mention. When you're doing the needle, you always have to make sure the tail comes through the hole. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this up. Okay. And I'm going to lose these now, because now that I've got it threaded, they just become a bit of a clunky nuisance. Take off the clips. You don't have to take these off till you've literally sewed the last part. I'll leave one in. So I'm going to try to do this with you again. So what I did is we went through the middle, through the book, up through the spine, into the signature at the top, back through the middle, up through the bottom, and into the signature this way. I'm going to take this off. I can see a little boo-boo I made, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. Don't lose the tail. We're not done yet. So you've pulled it in tight, because what you want to make sure is your thread, or the back of your spine, the thread is tight. So I'm going to look at the back here. Oh, it could be a little tighter, so I'm going to pull on the strings here. I'm going to hold on to that tail. I told you this isn't pretty. I think I heard it pull tight there. All right, so to finish this off now, you want to take I'm going to make sure it's tight. Okay, maybe I really reinforced the spine too much, so it's giving me a little bit of a harder pull here. So now you want to take, you've got both threads here, take your needle and go right under the top part of the stitching. So you got both in your hand. You want to crisscross them over because you're going to tie them up. Just be sure. There. So yeah, it looks pretty tight. Decent enough tight. Okay, so give it a little pull, and now you're going to do the tie. So you just do, one knot. Oh, come on. That's not the hard part here. So you do one knot, and now do the opposite side. They say that it just helps, but who knows? You don't have to. And I pulled it tight, and so now you have a little tail. You can leave the tail or you can cut it. So there we have it. One sewn in. Can you see that? Okay, so that's signature one. It wasn't too bad. You can see if you flip it through, it's all nicely attached. It feels pretty strong. Okay, now we're going to do signature number 2. The most amount of signatures I sewed into one spine was 5. Actually, denim blues, and I sold it to a darling girl. Her name is Alice. She bought it from Etsy shop, but that was the journal that I had done the most amount of signatures in. I was pretty proud of it. I believe there's 5 in there, pretty sure. Okay, give your signature a quick look through. Make sure your sheets and pages are the way you want them. Especially when you're using different sized paper. Make sure that let me see, how do I want to do that? Yeah, we'll do it like that. Did I sew it? Just give me a second, you guys. Sorry. Okay, we're good. I think we're good. Okay, so give it a little. This somehow helps the pages that are folded hug the spine better. So remember the top of your journal. Keep the direction in your mind, because it can happen without you realizing that you've done it upside down. So do this again. Again, like I said, paper clips work too. These can be a little bit on the bulky side, but it's working. It's working today. Amazing what we do, hey? Amazing what we take the discarded food item boxes and make them all pretty. It's not a quick process, but it's super enjoyable. If I'm by myself, which I normally am, I have the music going and I'm just doing my thing. Not generally, oh, I guess we have to do the holes in this yet. I almost forgot. Okay, let's do this. So, about 1 inch from the top. So I'm going to make my mark. 1, 2, and 3. You won't see these little dots that I'm making usually because of your thread, but and then I got to poke the holes through it. The easiest way to do that, like I mentioned, I think I did, is if you hug your sheets up this way, find your little hole and then hold it up this way and go into the phone book. You pretty much guaranteed your holes will be nicely straight through instead of angled through certain portions of the paper. A little tip I learned along the way. Okay. That's done. Now the exact same process. You're going to start in the middle, go through the middle, and then up through the top, and then back through the middle, and then up through the bottom. But I guess I need to rethread this. Just want to check to make sure that there's 3 lengths. 1, 2, and 3 with a little extra. Whoops. Okay, thread her through. This is where this waxed linen thread, it's a tougher thread, obviously, so, and not the easiest to get through this stubborn eye of the needle here. Come on, get in there. Sometimes I start at the other end. I did just buy a little sewing machine again, just for paper, literally just for paper. I got it off the marketplace, Facebook Marketplace last weekend. So I hope to be able to figure it out and sew around all my tags and cards and all that stuff. I love that look. It's optional, but I do like the look. Okay, here we go. It's a bit thick, this. Oh, this is where I need this. See? This is where I need this baby here. There we go. Okay, when I pull it, I generally try to grab the tail at this point, and I hold it down with my thumb. Not too tight, but snug enough. And now we're going through the middle. Oops. Pull it through, hold on to the tail. And now we're going to find the top here. I'm going to try to go right into the signature, just to show you it can be done. I'm just trying, I don't know, we're going to do it this way, otherwise I look too gibbled. One step at a time. When I'm alone, I can do all kinds of things, but not on video. Okay, through this here. Let's see if it went through. Yep, it went through. Come on, pulley tool. There we go. Got that off of Amazon. I'm not even sure what you call them. You seamstresses will know. But it does come in handy, not gonna lie. I mean, it's probably a lot nicer than working with rubber gloves on your hands, but you got to do what you got to do, right? And plus, I like to think that those rubber gloves are simply for kitchen use only. And right now, I'm in my happy space place. I don't want to think about dishes right now. Okay, through the middle. And remember not to split the thread that is already through. Okay, there we go. See how it doesn't look that smooth when I'm doing it for you, but you'll know. For those of you that have not done this yet, I do look a little bit scrambly here because I'm trying to not get my head completely in the video. And I can't see that far away, but we're managing here. Okay. Pulley tool, pulley tool. Just keep sight of that tail. And anyways, even if you lost the tail, no biggie. Pull it all out and start again. Look at that. Beautiful. Come on, get through. This is definitely a thicker signature. Nice and sturdy. Okay. This is always the sigh of relief stage when you've got it all through. Your pages, your holes were lined up. But you also want to make sure the back is tight. So I'm going to get rid of these clips. And you know, if I do apologize if some of this didn't make it onto the camera. It's hard to see sometimes. I don't always get it in my frame, but I hope so. I hope it worked. Okay, so now we're going to pull, make sure that it's all tight. Okay. Before I tie it off, turn it over. Look at that, nice and snug. That's good. Put it through the top of your, that's just the way I was taught and the way I do it. I'm sure there are many, many different ways. If you YouTube Pamphlet Stitch or, you know, journal binding, there's so many different tutorials. But this is hopefully going to be helpful for you. I can't wait. I hope that you guys can muster the courage to do this yourself as well. It took me a while, but I'm so glad took the leap of courage and did it. See, there you go. Not exactly perfect. And I think I know why. Normally, I cut down the whites of my pages, but because I wasn't paying close enough attention to the size that I cut the cereal box to, it's not exactly perfect, but it's a junk journal. It's okay. It still looks good. Can you see that? And this is the back. Some people, I have as well, you can put fabric, you can cover this up, and then in that case you wouldn't have needed to put down this printable backing. I might still, I'm going to definitely put something on the corners of this here just to hide the Tyvek. I don't always, but so let's have a look through here. It's in nice and snug, I can tell. So the pages look nice, they're all in there. This is that extra element I added that I'm going to, I love that I stuck it in there. Little doily, even she made it in there. So the journal signature ends here. It even gives me, actually, if you see the middle there, I can either leave it, because I will embellish quite a bit, or I can actually sew one more thing in there. And what I have done is I have sewn in a file folder, little file folder journal. Do I have one here to show you? That's so cute. It actually was, I don't have it on hand here. But anyway, in all likelihood I won't. I'm just going to leave it like this. But here's the second signature. Look at these images. These particular printables are by Artie Mays. I happened across her kit as well last night, late last night. The beach kit, Artie Mays beach kit. So it just adds some extra elements that I look forward to doing. So between PM Artist Studio and Artie Mays, this is going to be a darling, darling journal, I think and hope. Some of my own coffee dyed here. But it's in nice and snug. I love it. So that's it. That is the process. Not that difficult. A little bit finicky and all that stuff, but you can do an eyelet punch here and then, you know, do different types of closures for when it's done. But that's not where I'm at yet. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do. Now, next question is, do you want to embellish with me? Do you want me to do a video of how I embellish and we just sort of wing it and do it together? Or we could also leave it right here and you can just get your own journals together and have some fun. Do your own thing in your journal. Or yeah, just let me know in the description box if you guys want me to embellish with you on camera. Okay, so that is the video. We got her sewed in. So you need an awl, you need your waxed linen thread, which I got off of Amazon. I got my awl off of Amazon. I got my favorite thing in the world, these rubber pull things, off of Amazon. And you just need to make sure you measure properly. You can do a template for whatever size spine you're using. Don't forget to mark the top of your template. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope this video is helpful for you. Let me know. I'm learning all kinds of things. So if I talk too much, if I'm not clear enough, if I talk too fast, if you're able to follow along with me, well, that's great. I'm open to constructive criticism. I love to learn. And I've grown to love you all and respect everything you have to say. So I'm open to suggestions. But with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to check out PM Artist Studio. Her printables are 40% off. If you use the code GETART20, you'll get an extra 20%, 60% off. That's a great deal. I will link it down below. Okay, have a wonderful day, everybody.